Africa is often described as the continent of the future. But what if the future is arriving faster than anyone expected? Across Africa, several countries are quietly transforming their economies, building massive infrastructure, expanding technology sectors, and positioning themselves as key players in global trade and geopolitics. For decades, the narrative around Africa focused mostly on challenges. Yet behind the headlines, a different story has been unfolding. Cities are expanding into megacities. Young populations are driving innovation. Governments are investing heavily in industry, technology, and regional influence. By 2035, the global balance of power could look very different. Several African nations are on track to become economic and political giants, not just within the continent, but on the world stage. These countries are not simply growing, they are building the foundations of future global power. Strong economies, strategic locations, abundant resources, technological advancement, and rapidly expanding populations. In this video, we explore 7 African countries that are most likely to rise as global powers by 2035 and the powerful forces driving their rise. 7. Rwanda may be one of the smallest countries on this list, but it is also one of the most remarkable transformation stories in modern history. In just a few decades, Rwanda has reinvented itself as one of Africa's most efficient, business-friendly, and technologically ambitious nations. The government has focused heavily on creating a stable environment for investment, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Kigali has become one of the cleanest and most organized cities in Africa, attracting international conferences, technology companies, and global investors. Rwanda is positioning itself as a regional hub for technology and innovation. The country has invested in high-speed internet infrastructure, digital services, and tech education. Drone technology is already being used to deliver medical supplies to remote areas, making Rwanda a global example of how emerging technologies can transform healthcare systems. The government has also invested heavily in aviation, tourism, and financial services as part of a long-term plan to turn Rwanda into a knowledge-based economy. Despite its small size, Rwanda's strategic planning, strong governance, and focus on technology could allow it to punch far above its weight in global influence by 2035. 6. Morocco has steadily built one of the most sophisticated and globally connected economies in Africa. Located just across the Mediterranean from Europe, Morocco serves as a crucial bridge between Africa and European markets. Over the past 2 decades, the country has invested heavily in industrial development, particularly in automotive manufacturing, aerospace, and renewable energy. Morocco is now one of the largest car exporters in Africa. Major international automotive companies operate large factories in the country, producing vehicles that are exported primarily to Europe. The country has also become a global leader in renewable energy. Massive solar power plants in the Moroccan desert rank among the largest in the world. These projects are helping Morocco reduce its dependence on imported energy while positioning it as a key player in the future global green economy. Morocco's infrastructure development has also been impressive. The country built Africa's first high-speed rail line and continues to expand modern ports, highways, and logistics centers. Casablanca has emerged as a major financial hub, connecting African and international investors. With strong political stability, advanced infrastructure, and growing industries, Morocco is rapidly strengthening its influence both within Africa and globally. 5. Kenya. Kenya has quietly become one of the most dynamic economies in Africa. Its capital city, Nairobi, has transformed into a major financial and technological center for East Africa. Kenya's reputation as the Silicon Savannah comes from its vibrant technology sector. The country was one of the pioneers of mobile banking, launching innovations like mobile money that revolutionized financial access across the continent. Today, Nairobi hosts hundreds of startups working in fintech, health technology, agriculture technology, and digital services. Global tech giants have noticed, Several international companies have established regional headquarters or research centers in Kenya, recognizing its role as a gateway to African markets. Kenya's strategic location along the Indian Ocean also gives it significant trade advantages. The port of Mombasa serves as a key entry point for goods flowing into East Africa and several landlocked neighboring countries. Massive infrastructure investments, including railways, highways, and new ports, are strengthening Kenya's position as a regional logistics hub. Tourism also plays a major role in the economy, drawing millions of visitors every year to experience the country's wildlife, landscapes, and coastal resorts. With strong entrepreneurship, technological leadership, and a strategic trade position, Kenya is well positioned to become one of Africa's most influential economies in the next decade. 4. Ethiopia. Just a few decades ago, Ethiopia was primarily known for economic hardship. Today, it is one of the fastest-growing economies in the world and one of Africa's most ambitious development stories. With a population of more than 120 million people, Ethiopia is the second most populous country in Africa. This large and youthful population provides an enormous labor force capable of powering industrial growth. The Ethiopian government has spent years investing heavily in infrastructure and industrialization. Industrial parks across the country are attracting global manufacturers looking for new production hubs outside Asia. Major international brands have already established manufacturing operations in Ethiopia, producing textiles, garments, and consumer goods for global markets. Energy is another area where Ethiopia has a massive advantage. The country is building some of the largest hydroelectric projects in Africa, including the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. When fully operational, this dam will become Africa's largest hydroelectric power station, generating huge amounts of electricity, not only for Ethiopia but also for export to neighboring countries. Addis Ababa has also become a major diplomatic hub. It hosts the headquarters of the African Union and serves as a center for continental diplomacy. With continued economic reforms, industrial growth, and energy expansion, Ethiopia could emerge as one of Africa's most powerful economies and a major manufacturing hub by 2035. 3. Egypt. Egypt occupies one of the most strategically important locations on the planet. Sitting at the crossroads of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, it controls one of the world's most critical trade routes, the Suez Canal. Roughly 12% of global trade passes through this narrow waterway every year. This alone gives Egypt enormous geopolitical significance. But Egypt's ambitions go far beyond controlling a shipping route. Over the past decade, the country has invested heavily in massive infrastructure projects, including new cities, highways, power plants, and industrial zones. One of the most ambitious projects is the construction of a new administrative capital east of Cairo, designed to become a modern economic hub capable of hosting millions of people and businesses. Egypt also has one of the largest economies in Africa and the Middle East. Its manufacturing sector is expanding rapidly, producing everything from electronics to automobiles. Energy is another area where Egypt is gaining global importance. Major discoveries of natural gas in the Mediterranean have turned the country into a rising energy exporter and a key supplier to Europe. With a population exceeding 110 million people, Egypt also has a large domestic market and a massive labor force. Combined with its strategic location, military strength, and growing infrastructure, Egypt is positioning itself as a powerful bridge between continents and a major global economic hub by 2035. 2. South Africa. South Africa already holds a unique position as one of the most globally integrated economies in Africa. It is the continent's most industrialized country and one of the few African nations with highly developed financial institutions and infrastructure. Johannesburg hosts Africa's largest stock exchange, and South African companies operate across nearly every sector of the African economy, from banking and retail to telecommunications and mining. One of South Africa's greatest strengths is its diversified economy. While many African countries rely heavily on a single resource, South Africa has developed strong industries in manufacturing, mining, finance, tourism, and technology. The country is also incredibly rich in natural resources. It holds some of the world's largest reserves of platinum, gold, manganese, and other strategic minerals that are essential for modern technology and green energy systems. As the global economy transitions toward renewable energy, these minerals are becoming increasingly valuable. South Africa is also one of the few African nations that actively participates in major global organizations and alliances. Its membership in the BRICS economic bloc connects it with major global powers and opens doors for international trade and investment. The country also has strong universities, advanced research institutions, and a growing innovation ecosystem. Despite its economic challenges, South Africa still has the infrastructure, institutional strength, and industrial capacity to remain one of Africa's most powerful nations and expand its influence globally in the coming decades. The number one country will shock you. It is not what most people think or imagine, and now we have it. 1. Nigeria. Nigeria is already Africa's most populous nation, and by 2035, it is projected to become one of the most populous countries on Earth, with a population expected to exceed 250 million people within the next decade. Nigeria possesses a demographic advantage that very few countries can match. Population alone does not create global power, but when combined with economic potential and natural resources, it can become an unstoppable force. Nigeria already has the largest economy in Africa. Its vast oil and gas reserves have long made it a major player in global energy markets. However, the real story of Nigeria's rise lies beyond oil. The country is rapidly becoming Africa's technology powerhouse. Lagos has emerged as one of the world's fastest-growing startup ecosystems, often referred to as the Silicon Valley of Africa. Nigerian tech companies are attracting billions of dollars in international investment, building solutions in fintech, e-commerce, digital banking, and artificial intelligence. Companies founded in Nigeria are expanding across Africa and increasingly into global markets. Nigeria's film industry, Nollywood, is also one of the largest film industries in the world, producing thousands of movies annually and shaping cultural influence across the continent and diaspora. Beyond culture and technology, Nigeria's strategic position in West Africa makes it a major regional leader. It plays a crucial role in regional organizations, peacekeeping missions, and economic integration. If Nigeria continues investing in infrastructure, governance reforms, and economic diversification, its combination of population, culture, technology, and resources could transform it into one of the most influential countries in the world by 2035. 2035 sits at the intersection of three compounding timelines. First, demographic momentum moves cohorts from school to workforce, boosting consumption and entrepreneurship. Second, mega infrastructure financed earlier in the decade comes online. Power plants, interconnectors, industrial parks, and corridors, lowering costs and improving reliability. Third, global supply chains de-risk from single-country dependence, rewarding countries that deliver predictability, clean energy, and scale. When these waves meet, late starters can leapfrog, especially where digital rails compress coordination costs across vast geographies. What will make these countries global powers beyond GDP? Becoming a global power is more than tallying GDP. It's about setting rules, exporting culture and technology, and anchoring supply chains others depend on. Here are the levers that elevate these 7 beyond raw growth. 1. Demographic dividends turned into productivity. Education that meets industry needs. Digital IDs and instant payments that formalize commerce. Women's economic participation that expands the workforce. 2. Energy transition as competitive advantage. Leveraging gas and renewables to cut power costs, localize manufacturing, and export low-carbon products like green ammonia, batteries, and processed metals. 3. Capital market depth, pension funds, sovereign wealth, and vibrant stock exchanges that finance infrastructure, climate tech, and high-growth SMEs. 4. Trust infrastructure, legal reforms, credit bureaus, e-signatures, procurement transparency, and open data that reduce risk and invite global partnerships. 5. Soft power flywheels. Film, music, sports, fashion, and gastronomy that create global demand and political goodwill for products, services, and alliances. 6. Geostrategic brokerage, controlling corridors, choke points, and standards in areas like data localization, AI safety, green shipping, and cross-border payments. Signals you'll see on the way to 2035. If this thesis is playing out, expect these indicators to flash green. Manufacturing value add rising faster than raw commodity exports, with export baskets tilting to higher complexity. Cross-border digital rails, instant payments, remittances, trade finance, connecting ecosystems across regions. Green megaprojects reaching financial close, hydrogen, ammonia, interconnectors, desalination powered by renewables, logistics efficiencies, port dwell times falling, rail tonnage rising, customs clearance moving fully digital, talent boomerangs, diaspora founders relocating, VC funds domiciling, regional headquarters clustering in key cities. Cultural breakthroughs, streaming charts, global sports signings, international festivals that turn attention into economic pull. Africa is entering a new era of transformation. The continent's young population, vast resources, expanding infrastructure, and growing industries are reshaping its place in the global economy. The countries highlighted here are not just growing quickly. They are building the foundations required for long-term global power. Strong economies, technological innovation, strategic trade routes, and rising geopolitical influence. Nigeria's massive population and tech ecosystem, South Africa's industrial strength, Egypt's strategic location, Ethiopia's manufacturing push, Kenya's innovation economy, Morocco's industrial expansion, and Rwanda's technological vision all represent different paths toward global power. Of course, challenges remain. Economic reforms, political stability, and continued investment will be critical to sustaining this growth. But if these countries stay on their current trajectories, the world map of influence could look very different by 2035. The rise of Africa's next global powers may not be a distant possibility. It may already be happening.